Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon to some of you who might be watching us at another time, and good evening to those of you watching us this evening. My name is Terry Henne, and we're talking about businesses in the Great Lakes Bay region, and in particular, one. 1950 was a pretty good year for a lot of folks. It was innovative for many business folks. It was very innovative for individuals who wanted to start a business. Here at WSGW Radio, we turned our transmitters on in 1950. There was a group of individuals out in the Frankenmuth area that decided that they needed to do a little bit of work in helping members of their community. It all boiled down to an individual by the name of Emil Rummel. He created an insurance agency, and that agency is a part of our community even today. This is the 70th anniversary of the Rummel Agency, and I'm very proud to have one of the Rummel family with me this morning. Greg Rummel, good morning to you. How are you?
Hey, Terry, not too bad. Good morning to you this day. We're pretty excited to be doing a Facebook Live event, and, beautiful day out there and a little frosty this morning, but, things are good.
I see that you're dressed for the pandemic.
Well, Terry, there's certain things that we're all doing these days to help keep each other safe, right? And we think with farm and ag operations, safety is always a critical component of doing business. And when I think of Rummel Agency and what we've done going back to 1950 and when Emil started the agency, that dedication remains unchanged, and that's to help growers and their families stay safe, stay successful, and be able to do the things that they do best. And right now, in this day and age, pandemic or not, they're still putting food on the table for people, right? That commitment hasn't changed. Their dedication to keeping us all doing well in this day and age, and that's what we're happy to help be part of their success as well, and keeping them safe.
Greg, I've got to show you a picture first of all. This was the office in downtown Frankenmuth in 1950. Now, I'm quite sure the office has changed a little bit over the years, but that's how things got started. And now the next picture, and this brings it a little bit closer to home. This is a picture of, who is that?
Yeah, look at those ties too. I mean, it's as much who is it as who was their fashion consultant back then, Terry. Yeah, so that would have been about 1978. And we were just moving into a new building at that time, having moved from the previous building that you saw in that picture, Terry. Yeah, based on the success of our clientele and the agency, Emil and Gary found it to expand and to grow. And but going back to that first picture, I will tell you, our commitment from those humble beginnings has not changed, and that's our dedication to taking care of clients, big and small, to make sure that they're safe and successful. And with that, a part of our job since, going back to when Emil Rummel started and his early moniker of organized to serve you, that commitment certainly has not changed. And our goal is always to make sure, and any one of our associates will attest to this, as you'll find out here shortly, Terry, that we just want to make sure everybody is presented with the right options for coverage and protection to make sure that their business, their farm, whatever it is, can remain successful for generations to come.
I love that white belt too. You mentioned the ties, but that white belt, that was a killer right there. Greg, anything in passing here that you'd like to tell the folks about the future of Rummel Agency?
Well, Rummel, we continue to grow. We continue to look for opportunities. Obviously our number one priority right now, Terry, when we think of what's happening with a pandemic, right? Kind of the the way business is being operated has changed somewhat, right? We want to make sure that we're keeping people safe as we keep them protected. And so, client visits and whether it's out taking some time, as you'll see from Craig here shortly, being at the family farm and talking with folks one-on-one, maintaining our social distance and obviously whatever protections to keep people safe. We're gonna maintain that commitment that has always existed, and that's to make sure that your business, your family, and your family's future, whether that's the family farm or it's a corporate farm, however you're set up, is going to be protected for many generations to come. And that's our priority and my commitment to all of you, that you'll get that from each one of our associates, that we'll look forward to serving you in the future, and our gratitude for a large and loyal client base. We are one of the largest independent agency providers of farm and ag in Michigan. And that commitment's going to remain, and that success is no accident. And so, to all our loyal farm customers, thank you so much. And if you're not yet a client of the Rummel Agency, come talk with us. Talk with one of our agents, one of our account managers, and find out what the Rummel advantages are. And I can assure you that commitment that Emil Rummel started back in 1950 to his clients is going to continue, and we'll take care of you like family.
Greg Rummel, thanks a lot for sharing. We really appreciate your time. You take care, be safe, and we'll see you again soon, all right?
Sounds great, Terry. Thank you.
All righty. Greg Rummel. Greg mentioned the team. Let's join the team right now. First of all, why don't we switch over and say good morning to Annie Hopkins. Annie, good morning. How are you? You're on mute right now, Annie.
Morning,
There
Terry.
you go. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? You look good this morning.
I'm working at it.
That's good.
It takes a little bit more time, as the years go by. Annie, tell us a little bit about your obligations. What do you do at the agency?
Well, I am the farm and ag manager, and I also am a servicing agent for farm accounts. And I talk to farmers every day, and I love talking to farmers. I've been in the insurance industry for about 17 years, and I've been at the Rummel Agency going on 15 years. So I really enjoy insurance and enjoy talking to farmers in particular, just because that's who I talk to every day.
I guess it's really important that not only do you talk to someone who knows the business, but somebody that's been working at the business for a number of years. And that's definitely an asset at the agency.
Yes, I've learned a lot, for sure. When I started at Rummel Agency, I had never handled a farm account before. And I got teamed up with one of our farm producers, and he taught me a lot along the way. So I appreciate all of that. And that's what makes farming so interesting, the family dynamic, getting to know your customers. And that's really what I enjoy about the job.
Well, Annie, thank you very much for sharing. We really appreciate it. You have a great day and be safe, okay?
Thank you. You as well, Terry, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You and your family as well, all righty? Let's join up with another member of the team, Amanda Weiss. Good morning, Amanda. How are you?
Good morning, Terry. Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Your responsibilities at the agency, what are they?
I also service some of our middle-sized farm accounts here. I've been at the agency almost 8 years now, handling a good portion of the farm book that we have, and it's definitely been a learning experience along the way.
It's really important for someone to understand the industry that they're trying to serve. And I know with the Weiss family, heavily involved in agriculture.
Oh, yes. My family, or my husband's family, owns a local farm implement business. So that definitely helps out when it comes to needing to understand what we're exactly insuring. He's definitely helpful when it comes to the types of implements they see going down the road and everything.
When we talk to farmers on an individual basis, how important is it to involve just not one person, but possibly a husband and a wife and other family members?
Oh, very much so. It's definitely helpful to get all information necessary and to make sure everybody is communicating with each other. Husbands don't always tell their wives everything that they need to know, so it's helpful to make sure you're communicating with everybody.
Will you have a happy holiday, you, your family, and everybody? Tell them I said hello, okay?
I will do that. Thank you. You as well.
All right, Amanda Weiss. Now let's join up with another member of the team, Donna. Good morning, Donna. How are you?
Good morning, Terry. I'm doing fine, thanks. How are you?
Good. Now, your duties at the agency, what do you have to do?
I'm an account manager for farm accounts, just like Ann and Amanda are. And I enjoy talking to farmers as well. I grew up on a family farm just outside of Frankenmuth, and technology has come a long way since I was a young person. And so it's always interesting to learn something every day with the farming industry.
Well, and years of experience don't hurt either. How many years have you been involved with the agency?
I started in 2010, so a little over 10 years.
You've been there for a little while,
A
and
little while, yeah.
I'm sure you've seen a lot, but you probably haven't seen it all, have
I
you?
have not seen it all, no.
And that's what's interesting about being in the business you're in.
It certainly is.
Donna, nice to meet you. Happy holidays to you, you and your family, okay?
Thank you. Same to you, Terry.
Thank you. And let's join up now with Tiffany. Tiffany, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, you're in fashion today.
Thank you.
Tiffany, your responsibilities at the agency, what are they?
So I service farm accounts. I also service some commercial, but farm has been my new venture in the last little over a year here, and I've really been enjoying it.
You know, agriculture is really important in our community. It's not the only thing, but a lot is done with agriculture, and it is really important for farmers and those involved in production agriculture to be able to talk to someone if they have a problem or something comes up.
Yes.
You're one of the people that they talk to, huh?
Yes, definitely. It's great to be able to talk and help answer questions, just be able to direct coverage choices, and we have a great group of customers, a great book of business, and our clients are great, so that's excellent.
Oh, fantastic. And it's nice to have a team. I would imagine you do a little talking now and then between each other on how to handle certain things, right?
Yes. We have our meetings, and we're able to discuss changes, not only due to the pandemic, but changes, there's always changes happening. So it's just great to be able to have a nice team, and be able to meet and come together. So,
Tiffany, very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a safe holiday and be safe, okay?
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's go out on the road. Joining me now, we have Andy Opperman. Andy, good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Terry. I'm doing good. How about you?
I see that you're you got your working clothes on today.
I do. I usually bring a different change of clothes with me wherever I go, but yeah, it's a little cold one this morning in the grain shack.
Tell us a little bit about what you do at the agency, Andy.
Yeah, so I'm one of the farm agents at the agency. Joined the team about 7 years ago. I had the luxury of having the experience of our family farm under my belt. So I'm fourth generation farmer. Our family, we've been in the farm and ag industry for about 90 years, in all aspects of the industry. So really enjoy farm and ag. That's what I live and breathe, and I'm glad I'm able to do that at the agency.
How big of a family do you come from?
Oh, shoot. There's probably, if we were to get together for Thanksgiving and our Christmas holidays, I mean, you'd probably see upwards of 60, 70 people at the party. But unfortunately, we're not able to do it this year.
Well, get a big shed like the one you're probably right next to. Maybe you can make it work. Andy, as far as suggestions, what should farmers be concentrating on right now? Because I think quite a few of them are done with a lot of the field work.
Yeah, this fall has been rather favorable. A lot of guys are done, and I'm happy to be done as well. I know last year we weren't even close to this point right now. So, but yeah, you made a good point. There's just a lot going on a farm. I'm in front of, turn this way. Guys probably recognize we got a corn dryer there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of exposures on a farm. Houses, barns, sheds out back, equipment. It's just a lot going on. And, the average person doesn't realize or doesn't have the responsibility of looking after this type of stuff. But I chose to come on out to the grain shack this morning and talk to you a little bit about these. Share a little bit of experience with these. We've all got different types of grain dryers if you have one. They can be a blessing, but they can also be a big headache sometimes too. But I just wanted to share, with these, we just came off of a good harvest, hopefully, and we really understand how important these are to us. They save us and make us quite a bit of money over the long term. So this year, we've got a top dryer system. It's a unique dryer. Quite a few guys have them, but I was just looking to encourage people when you're looking at your grain dryers to make sure that you have an adequate value on these things. There's all sorts of types, but I would encourage you to contact your supplier and see what it costs for a similar grain dryer. Because if it were to go down, that's going to be a lot of money out of your pocket. And there's one other coverage that usually we tie in with grain farms like ours. It's called the earnings and extra expense coverage. So if the grain dryer were to have a fire in it, have damage, that would pick up costs to extra expenses to haul the grain to the elevator, because you can't haul it in off the field and dry it yourself. So you haul it in the elevator, and it would pick up the difference between your drying charges. Usually, we could probably dry corn for about 10 cents a bushel. Elevator is going to charge you 20, 25 cents a bushel, depending on how wet it is. So that can add up in a hurry. So it's things like these, and that's just a grain dryer. You got all your other exposures as well. Have the conversation with your agent about your unique farm. Everyone's different. We're just a crop farm. We used to have a dairy farm as well. So there's just a lot going on.
Boy, there sure is. Andy, thanks a lot for sharing. Really appreciate that. And again, you emphasized the point. Point is well taken. Maybe it's a good time, if you haven't for a while, contact your agent and talk a little bit more, because these policies, they change, don't they?
They do. They're always changing. And then farms are always changing. I think back to 2012, in that time frame, things were going well. And there's just a lot of new buildings, a lot of new equipment, just a lot of change. Please stay in touch with your agent and make sure, we're up to date on all of that as well.
Andy, thanks a lot for sharing. Really appreciate it. And you have a very happy holiday, you and your family, all 60 plus, okay?
Thanks, Terry. You too.
You betcha. Andy Opperman. Let's get a little bit more of a perspective on what's going on out on the farm. Craig Voorhees joining me this morning. Craig, you got a tractor and some implements back behind you as well. What's your take on what's going on here these days in agriculture?
Well, good morning, Terry. Yes, you and Andy had mentioned a lot of folks are done with their harvest. They're working on putting their equipment away, putting it in like sheds that are pictured behind me here. if you've built a new shed this year or you've gotten some new pieces of equipment, it's a good time to look over your blanket coverage. That blanket covers your equipment, your seed, your feed, your fertilizer, your shop tools, and how that ties into the building is maybe you've got a larger building than you had before, and now you're putting more pieces of equipment in one place. That changes your risk management strategy. So it's a good idea to to review that blanket coverage and make sure you've got enough value there in case you lose everything in one building.
You know, we've seen a lot of construction over the past several months, and I got a funny feeling we're going to see more construction out on the farm, more buildings. Your advice to folks?
Well, when they're putting those new buildings up, find out if the builder has coverage on it. And going back to what I just said, that once the building's done and you're moving in, make sure you've got enough coverage on your blanket. Now, the blanket a lot of times gets confused with the umbrella. The blanket is strictly for the equipment and everything I mentioned earlier. The umbrella is for liability, and liability protects you in the event of a lawsuit. Put the L's together, liability and lawsuit protection. And every risk management discussion should include liability. What we're really talking about there, Terry, is asset protection. You can do everything right and be in the wrong spot at the wrong time and find yourself in a courtroom for a frivolous lawsuit. And when and if that happens, we don't want folks to literally have to sell a chunk of the family farm off to pay for those expenses. You've worked hard, you've built up the farm, you most likely want to pass it on to the next generation. The last thing we want to see, and you want to see, is have to split it up to pay for a lawsuit. And that's what we're really talking about, is that asset protection. And I believe
Oh, go ahead.
I'll let you go.
No, if someone does want to be in contact with you, with Andy, any members of the agency, right now, it's kind of difficult for a lot of in-person communication, but you do go out and talk to folks if they really do need assistance, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. I'm out at a customer's farm right now. I need to thank Dean for letting me be out here. And we are willing, if they're willing to have us come out, we can wear masks if they like. We can social distance, but we can still come out and do a somewhat face-to-face meeting.
And that's the way the agency has been built over the years, face-to-face or on the phone or even online. You folks do a wonderful job. And we should mention that online address. I know Kayla had it running a little bit earlier. There it is, rummelinsurance.com. And there's quite a few pages, quite a few areas where people can go to look. But in particular, do you have a farm page?
We do, Terry. There's a farm page there. They can click on it. They can find everybody that we've talked to today, and they can email us directly from there, and we'd be happy to get back in touch with them.
Craig Voorhees, always a pleasure to talk. Always a pleasure to have you on the farm program, too, a couple of days a week. I'm going to hold you to today. Okay?
All right. We'll talk a little later then.
All right. Sounds good. Craig, thank you very much. Craig Voorhees. Now, let's go back to the agency. A very important person that I want to chit-chat with, because I think a lot of people, Larry Michael, really do want to talk to you. And I'm talking specifically about this auto insurance reform. This has been something that the Rummel Agency has really been diligent in working on with their customers and just educating people overall, right?
Absolutely. What we have in this state for the unlimited personal injury protection, which is the coverage for all of your medical costs if you're in an auto accident, our unlimited personal injury protection coverage is better than any other state in our great country by like a million miles. I lived in Indiana, lived in Illinois, and I've had their insurance, but Michigan's insurance is really the best in terms of getting the coverage we need for auto accident injuries. And no fault reform has allowed people to give up the best coverage on the planet to save $100 or $200 or $300. And once in a while, it makes sense for people, but most of the time, we're really better off hanging on to the best coverage in the United States of America for auto accidents. it sounds funny, like, what did I have for breakfast to be talking like this, right? But it really is the best coverage in the whole United States. So why give that up? Well, if you're really in a pinch financially, okay. But we've put a lot of effort into training our team so they can train our clients so that if they're going to give up the best coverage on the planet, to do it with their eyes open, to understand what they're getting into and what risks they're taking. And so far, we've done a great job. Our team believes in what we're doing. They're smart and they're well educated, and they've had so many thousands of conversations with our clients. It's really been enjoyable.
And you've had the opportunity to communicate with people. Case in point, you're going to be sending out a direct mail piece here fairly soon as well, right?
Around 90 days before everybody's auto policy renews that are Rummel clients, they get a decent mailer from us that explains what's going on, what's at risk, and how to frame out their decision process and make a good decision. They'll really protect their financial future down the road while balancing what they're paying today for their insurance. Tons of effort has gone into this. And our clients have really appreciated it because we've managed to take something that's super complex and boil it down into some simple decisions. They may require some soul searching, sure, but we boiled it down to some easy choices.
And again, it goes back to the team effort. You and your knowledge and how you've been able to talk to other members of the team, everybody's on the same page, right?
Absolutely. There's no substitute for when someone cares. Our team cares about our clients so much. They put in extra time to learn the new laws, the new policies, to understand how every insurance company we have is going to respond. A big commitment on everybody's part here, and they've done a really good job.
And I know it kind of hurts in a way when you don't have the opportunity to go out and have meetings and be able to talk to people one-on-one, because quite frankly, each individual has a different scenario. But there are some pretty common questions, I would assume, that you do get. And obviously, the first one is always prefaced, and you mentioned it. I want to save some money. How do I go about doing that?
Absolutely. That's a big concern for many people. And like I said, the way things are structured, you pay for insurance and you pay the state for this Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association. I'm getting into any details. But we walk people through where their money's going. If they want to save the money, we can step them through how to do that. But we ask that they do some research on their own, because if they're going to rely on health insurance to cover their auto accident medical costs, we don't want them to find out while they're in the hospital how little is actually being covered, how painful copays can be, what an out-of-network cost can really be like. And we don't want them to worry then. We want them to think about it now and make a good decision. And usually when people go through that process with us, they say, I'm going to keep the best coverage on the planet. Thank you very much.
And I think that's the best end to this is, you want the best on the planet, you got it. But
Right
you help people understand that they do have the best. And that's what's so important when you serve your customers.
Absolutely. And we have a good time doing it. This isn't like a death march. I mean, we all have a good time talking to our clients and understanding where they're coming from and answering their questions. I mean, I went through the same learning process myself. I've had the same concept explained to me 62 times. Fine, I'll do it for somebody else. I'll gladly return the favor. But we all have a good time. That's I think what's a differentiator here. We have a good time with doing what we do.
And that's what it's all about. Larry, thank you very much for sharing. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for encouraging the team to continue to operate the way it has for the last 70 years at the Rummel Agency.
My pleasure. Good talking to you, Terry.
Good talking with you. Craig Voorhees, let's go back to you for one final thought here, if you're available right now. Craig, let's chit chat real quick. Undoubtedly, people have a lot of questions, and undoubtedly, they need to be able to talk to someone when they have that question. Again, let's reiterate, how do individuals get in contact with the experts, with the team members at the Rummel Agency? Okay, you're muted.
I tried not to make that rookie mistake, but I did it. Terry, the audience can get a hold of everybody they've seen today a couple different ways. The rummelinsurance.com is on the screen. We have a farm tab. We also have a meet the team tab. They can go to either one of those and get a hold of us through the website, or we're certainly glad to talk on the phone at 800-572-0939.
Fantastic. Craig Voorhees, again, all the members of the team, we really appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedules to join us today, and we look forward to talking to you again. That's it from all of us, wishing all of you a very happy holiday season, and a thank you again to all the members of the Rummel Agency.
Thank you, Terry, and yes, we have so many blessings to be thankful for this year. Some of them might be a little harder to find than others, but we still need to look and celebrate those each and every day.